Welcome to Short Shot Archery. Today we're going to be talking about the sights the women shooters used at the Rio 2016 Olympics. Now we're going to be talking about sights and the sight pins of the top 64 women recurve shooters at the Rio Olympics. So if you have any questions on like the equipment used, I would check out Lancaster Archery. They're going to have most, if not all, of this equipment that I'm going to talk about right here. You can get prices, and you can, look and see, the different points of each piece of equipment, and see if you want to pick up something new. So to start off, we're going to be talking about the sight itself, not the pin, just the sight. So in the women's category, Shibuya was very dominant. Shibuya had 46 archers using their sight for 71.8%. Of those Shibuya sights, though, 44 of them use the Shibuya Ultima carbon sight, and 2 of them use the Shibuya dual click carbon sight. Next up is Excel. They had 8 shooters using the Excel Achieve sight. That's 12.5% of the total archers, followed by Win-Win with the WS600 for 12.5% of the total archers. There were 8 Win-Win shooters using that sight. Then the next 3 are all 1 archer each, which accounts for 1.5% for each of those 3 archers. So we start off with ASES RXT 5000, not a brand that I'm aware of, but it may be something that we don't see a lot, at least in the United States, but must be a good product because at least 1 shooter was using that sight. Next up is Fivix with the FV200, and last but not least is Sherlock with 1 shooter. Now we are going to move to sight pins. Now, there wasn't a ton of information on this, but it's still interesting. I've come to the conclusion that the difference between the 2 is going to be, one is just going to be your standard sight pin housing, and the other one is going to be sight pins that have a lens in them. There's no magnification in our lenses for recurve, but it just has a lens with no magnification. So, 63 or 98.4% of all the women's shooters used a standard sight pin with no lens in it. Now, there's 1 shooter that's outstanding, and that shooter used the Titan micro sight, and that is 1.5% of all the archers. So that is very interesting. But what did the medalists use? Well, we're going to cover that right now, starting with 3rd place, the bronze medal by Kibo Bay. She used the Shibuya Ultima carbon sight with a standard sight pin. Next up, in 2nd place for the silver medal, Lisa Unruth, and she used the Shibuya Ultima carbon with a standard sight pin. And last but certainly not least, in 1st place, Chang Hee Jin used the Shibuya dual click carbon with a standard sight pin. So it was very interesting when I was going through all this information on the showing of all these different sight companies, and how there was a little bit of change. Like, we have 1 shooter so far that's using a scope, a pin with a lens in it. So, it'll be interesting to see when the next Olympics rolls around, and hopefully we get more information like this to be able to compare the 2 and see if there's going to be a gradual change in the market where you're going to get more archers using a non-magnified lens in their pin. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this information, and as always, happy shooting.